Yeah.
Hi. Wow, Frank, look at us.
I know. Look at us.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know how I feel about this either. Good afternoon. It's really, really close.
It's really close.
We're really, really close. Hi. Good afternoon. Welcome to the party. How are you today, Naz?
I'm a little sleepy, but I'm good. I'm here, right? We're all here, and that's the good thing.
You had a rough night.
Yeah, we had some stuff going on last night, but we're here, Frank, and that's the important thing.
It really
Up
is.
close and personal.
We really up close and personal. Well, welcome back, live from Raps, episode 141.
It's been a hot minute.
It's almost a year. As crazy as this sounds, March is right around the corner.
It's right around the corner.
And it's almost been a year.
Somebody talked about St. Patrick's Day the other day, and I was like, that's kind of like our anniversary.
Yeah, anniversary.
Yeah, we don't want to remember that.
I don't know if it's a good thing
it's
or
not
bad thing.
It's not one you want to commemorate.
Yeah, so we're back. We're happy to be here. Last week we weren't here.
We weren't.
The snow took hold again.
It's been, what more could you add to the end of a wonderful 2021 year finale? Well, I feel like it's almost like the finale, because I feel like we're building up to a cliffhanger, like getting close to the end of, there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. People are getting vaccinated. Life is kind of opening up. People are moving. Kids are definitely out of school. But, life is starting to open back up. They're opening movie theaters, stadiums. Thank God some live music is going to come back. And I know that they said that some Broadway shows are going to come back too, right? I mean, that's going to be very dependent on each show, I guess, to make that decision. I'm sure you know more about that, but well,
no, we talked about this a while ago. The whole Broadway thing is, to me, I believe, is really a financial decision,
right?
To fill those, they're very costly productions. Backstage, you have a lot of people that are on top of each other. You have people on stage, and then you have the audience, where 25% can they really pay the bills,
right?
And so I think that's. I think that's the driver. So the millions of dollars that it takes to produce and put on the productions, I think is the larger problem. But
yeah. I mean, it's like a business. It's the same thing. You have to look at your overhead. Is it worth it to be open if you can't? If you have to bring all of that staff back and all of your workers back, and sometimes, I mean, there's a threshold of what it makes it worth it.
For sure.
I mean, for us, I'll sit with 3 people in the audience. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we can't afford to. We can't afford to buy a ticket that would only have 3 people in the audience.
I could barely afford to buy a ticket now. Imagine what they would be. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Imagine having a front row, the Hamilton all to yourself.
Well, on what is it, on Apple TV right now? What, Disney? It's on Disney.
You could have
Disney Plus.
Make it a.
I kind of do that. I kind of do that right now. It's kind of like a show just for me.
So while we were steamrolling ahead, every Thursday we had our guest Pam Silvestri. It was always food talk on Thursdays. Did you say
Pam?
I said Pam.
Pam.
Not Pam.
Okay.
Pam. Pamela Silvestri, and she's back with us today. You were just talking about how we're getting reopened, right? So between March 5th and March 26th, we're going to see the rest of the world in New York open. Every business should then be open. Entertainment centers are the last ones, which we're very thankful for. We got the opportunity to open in August.
Right.
If we didn't get to open in August, we would be opening March 26th.
Now. That's crazy.
As crazy as that sounds. And so we're really thankful for the work that our fellow proprietors did together. But between March 5th and then, the catering halls, and so lots of buzz. Not really sure. Starting this week, we get 35% indoor dining. So we've got Pam. We'll talk a little bit about what's happening out there. She's got her pulse, her finger on
She's
the
got her
pulse.
finger on the pulse of Staten Island food.
Thank you. Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to
Same
see
here.
you.
Nice to see you too. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. This was nice. This was a nice, refreshing thing in the pandemic. That was great of you that you continued it. And you both did a terrific job. And, if I could give out little, awards for who did great work in the pandemic, it was you two. So, keep us going, keep everybody's, hair looking okay. And,
right.
to actually make sure you have something good of an appearance, I guess. Right. So.
Well, I mean, it depends on the day.
Right. There have been days we're dragged in here, literally
dragged. Yeah.
Literally.
Especially when you had nothing to do. And so we would come in and do our thing. Plus, I mean, you also were going live every morning. And you still are doing your updates at 9 a.m., which have also been refreshing because the little community that's been built just watching you,
it's great,
has been fantastic. And then, of course, you have your piece, The Dish, right, on the Staten Island Vance Facebook page. So, I mean, you're like the professional podcaster yourself.
Well, I'm getting better. I invested in a microphone. Look at this.
Ooh.
Ooh, fancy.
That happened about a couple of months ago. And actually, this guy, people were really nice on that podcast. They were just very lovely. And people were like, sweetheart, you looking tired today, or sweetheart, your voice sounds so good. So you should really go get a microphone, and that sort of thing. So people were really nice about it. It's like at the advance, like if I misspell a word, they're like, sweetheart, that doesn't. So there's,
Is sweetheart indicative of the age of the readership?
No, not necessarily. Actually, I think it's the Staten Island thing. Like, okay, you did something wrong, and I don't want to be mean about it. I'll tell you one thing that happened in the pandemic. Excuse me. We bought a fire pit, and apparently they're illegal in New York City. And I mentioned it in a column. I'm like, hey, we got a fire pit, and like, sweetheart, they're illegal in New York City. I know that they sell them in Home Depot, on Forest Avenue, but they're illegal. The next day I had to write in a column because I wrote it daily, like for months. And then the next day I wrote, well, the fire pit went back to, Upper Volta, to the office. So I know.
We won't really talk about where the
fire pit is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I have 3 brother-in-laws that are firemen, so I should have been aware of that.
It's one of those weird things that they're illegal here.
Well, I believe the propane ones are good.
Flame, yeah.
It's the wood burning open flame ones that are an issue.
Yeah, I still struggle because I don't think any of them really are. They don't. I think they shy at all of them, don't they?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. But every restaurant has them now.
Yeah, whether they're supposed to or not.
Right. That had outdoors. So.
Hey, so we now have some nice things back here in New York City. We can eat indoors once again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, speaking with the restaurant owners and your friends, how has it been? How has this last week been going? We got the originally Valentine's Day, and then we got the open on Friday.
Right. We got the bonus 2 days.
Yeah, the gift.
Oh my gosh, 35%. That's it's a big deal. It's getting closer. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that everybody's comfortable eating out. I constantly poll people, readers that go on my Facebook page in the morning, or just generally, kind of canvas people who have written to the advance over the pandemic. And I'd say comfortably that 25 to 30% of Staten Islanders are not comfortable going back to indoor dining just yet. So they want to support restaurants. A lot of them are doing takeout, pickup, things like that. But it's, the whole pandemic, it's revolutionized food. I mean, we were never good at to go. We were never good at delivery on Staten Island. It was sort of mind boggling because in Manhattan, they have it down pat, people on bicycles delivering food, and that just didn't catch on here. And now they were forced to do it. The businesses were forced to, get good at it. So, it was a habit we've cultivated on, for years. So it's going to be difficult to kind of get back into the groove of the dining rooms. But that being said, tomorrow I'm going to Basilio Inn. That's going to be our first broadcast.
Yeah.
So
they open early, right?
They opened early. He closed early too. He closed, Maurizio closed in mid-December. I think it was December 13th that dining had to close. Everybody was just in orange zone. And, but he kind of foresaw, saw that coming. So he just sort of shut down sort of immediately. And then, he reopened for Valentine's Day weekend and, quietly and slowly, and he's back. So that's good. And now we're getting into Lent. We're getting into the Easter season, and that's the likely place.
It's going to be big.
Party and, so an artichoke. So I'm looking forward to good artichoke. So.
I was excited to see that Basilio was opening earlier.
Yes.
We had every so often, it's one of those, it's out of sight for us, but every so often we decide to, hey, let's go and check it out. And it's always a good time.
Never disappoints. Never, ever.
So 25% to 35% for some of these restaurants makes somewhat of a big difference. In our case, it really doesn't change much of anything, just because of the way we operate. Out bar, we could put 37 people in it now. We'll be able to put 51, but essentially we don't have enough space or tables and chairs to put 51 people, because you still can't sit at the physical at the bar. So it'll be interesting to see how the restaurants can adapt with a few extra folks. How many have we? I didn't notice any new restaurant closures recently. Do we know?
Not really. We've been sort of stabilized. The places are struggling, and everybody's waiting for the Restaurants Act to pass. People are really watching that in Congress, and hopefully by tomorrow, actually, we should get that's going to actually come to New York, because they're supposed to vote on it tomorrow. That's the second round. So I got a notification from the guy's office who started the legislation. So
talk about that, because what's the impact? What would be the impact with that?
The Restaurants Act is a federal program that would bail out pretty much a wide swath of the food industry, from taverns and to various aspects of the food service industry, breweries and things like that were affected, not only restaurants, but the restaurant industry, they took a massive hit, not paying rent, and the trickle down effect was enormous. So, these are, from what I understand, forgivable loans, and just general breaks and relief. And I think that that's very much needed. The restaurants, it really impacts the whole food chain. And a perfect example, I have several friends who work at the Fulton Fish Market in the Bronx, and with no restaurants, you have nothing going on. There's no demand, there's no chefs walking the market, there's no it's such a huge place. If you've ever been to the Fulton Fish Market in the Hunts Point market, it's like this giant refrigerator that looks, I think it's about six football fields or something like that, long. It's huge. And, you walk the different stalls, and generally it's open from midnight to about 6 a.m. That's kind of the best time to go, in the middle of the night. So the fish comes in, and, from wherever, usually from Massachusetts and, Maryland or wherever, the stuff comes in, and then everybody shops the market. But that just, all of that, like I said, to trickle down, those things don't come in because there's no demand, or this stuff, the demand shifted to the supermarkets. So, ShopRite is able to source all of their own fish, so that they don't need the Hunts Point market necessarily. So that, the middleman is kind of cut out. So that was a huge impact. And a lot of Staten Islanders work at the market, not only there, but also jobbers, at the Hunts Point market. I was talking with this guy, Joey Apples. Do you ever hear of him? Joey Apples.
He must be from Staten Island or from somewhere in Brooklyn.
He's got the nickname. He's got the nickname.
Absolutely from Staten Island. And my neighbor Jody turned me on to Joey Apples, and he used to have a fruit stand in Manhattan for 28 years or something like that. And obviously with COVID, everything was upended. So he kind of changed his business plan so that he would deliver to people's houses directly. So he goes up to the Hunts Point market, which has got a big produce terminal there. The stuff comes off the trains from the other side of the country, and it gets graded by USDA, and then it gets whatever, people buy it, or it goes to where it has to go. A lot of family businesses and things like that up there. And I know Louis Five Fingers. That's very funny. I think we all know Louis Five Fingers on Staten Island, right? Many Five Fingers. Anyway, good morning. Hello, Patricia, or afternoon. And Jennifer, it's good to see you. So basically, like I said, there was a voluminous amount of produce at Hunts Point Market on March 16th through the 20th. And all that stuff, went to City Harvest and got divvied up with different, charity agencies and, really good stuff too. You're talking about premium produce that was going to otherwise go to like a La Bernardin, or I don't know. It's really sad. But I do know, a lot of people lost their jobs, fish jobbers that, no longer are in that line of work. My own husband, the food service business, he's a chef now, he's shifted into other things. So it's not easy.
Yeah, sure. That fish market really is incredible.
Yeah.
I had several years ago, we were doing a clam bake, and we said, let's just go, because you buy it in bulk and you get, but it's more about the experience.
Right.
I watched, had to be 5-6 guys around this big tuna, and all bidding for pieces of the tuna. Whether it be for sushi or and it was just, they're yelling at each other in Japanese, Chinese, whatever they're doing. But it was just one of the things that you just don't get to see.
The whole experience.
Like you see it on Wicked Tuna and you see it on TV, but you see it in person going, what are they fighting for? And then, they move over and they go to this other counter, and it's the tuna's even bigger.
We should do a field trip.
We could do a field trip.
That would be awesome. I would love that. I'd go with you. But I'll say
with us.
All right.
We're going.
I'll tell you, when I started going to the Fulton Fish Market, it was underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. And, this is years ago, like 2000, when we started our restaurant. It was called American Grill. And I was like the only woman there, like really the only woman. So, and I think I was like 29, I'm going to say. And so I go there, and it was like a foreign land. And I remember it was February, and I dressed up really warmly, like the, Michelin man. And, they've got like fires going in barrels, and, it was like really something out of like, I don't know, a Mark Twain, something. Anyway. So we go, I go myself, I go drive, and I had no idea what I was going to do, but you had to like when it was down there, and they have some of these traditions up at the New Market, you'd pull into a section like that was called Stephanie or Doggety or Lunch Wagon. And those were the slips, peck slip was another one. You can park there. And then when you go and you shop the market, there are journeymen that go through the market, and you have your stuff, and the fishmonger gives it to the journeyman, and you say, I'm a Doggety. So your thing gets marked with like a wax crayon, it says Doggety. And then they kind of stack it up for you by your car or your truck or whatever. And so anyway, so I was shopping for one of the items on my list was lupa de mer, which is it's wolf fish that is the ugliest fish with all these teeth and everything, but you use it to, you can break it down and make it into like fish and chips, like almost like a cod. It's very inexpensive, but you also make fish stock from it. So I needed that. So I go, and a lot of people have it, but I happened to go to this one stall, and the guy's like, oh, sweetheart, it's like, whatever, $8 a pound. I was like, oh, okay. So I give him the money, and then they mark the fish. And then I go to this other stand, and it was called Buyer Lightning. And I'm like, I see this guy that looks familiar, and it's the husband of a woman who worked for us at Notre Dame. She was a cook there. And I was like, oh my gosh, Bobby Tuna. And he's like, Pam, I can't believe I'm seeing you here. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm shopping for fish. He goes, what'd you get? Where'd you go? You should come here. And he says, I'll take care of you. And so anyway, obviously his specialty was tuna. So, and it was very interesting. He's like, what did you buy? I said, lupa de mer. He said, how much did you pay for it? And I was like, $8 a pound. He goes, what? Get over here. And he pulls me over, and he goes, where'd you buy that? And we go up to the fishmonger, and he says, you charged her this is my friend. You take care of her. You give her back her money. And then the guy ended up like charging me like $3.95 a pound, which is what it was supposed to be, because I didn't know. Anyway, so then after that, he introduced me to a bunch of different vendors. And, and I met this guy, John Gatilla, who was a great guy, Blue Ribbon Fish, and so you get to know the people there, and they get to know you, and then you get the better deals and the fresher stuff. So that's
there's definitely
pecking order
and competition And it is funny when you do go from it's like going store to store, but you're inside this one place, as Pam is saying, and it is amazing if you know if you know how to ask for it, you know what you're doing. I mean, you could certainly barter, and you walk away, and they're chasing you down because then they have something that's even fresher than the fresh. And here's this, and here's that, and you know what? Come on, $1 a pound, and it is interesting.
That's cool.
It's definitely a fun experience.
Somebody has to take me.
There are some good videos of guys and gals that do these podcasts and shows that go in there and it kind of expose it. It's pretty cool. And the market has now revitalized into shopping. There's a movie theater there, restaurant. It's a really cool. They've really built it up to a nice little area. That the streets are closed off. You can walk around. That movie theater is really cool. iPick.
Oh, wait, I was there. Yes. Yeah, it is really nice. They actually have like a pod.
You're in
a little pod that
you lay in the pod and watch the movie.
Yeah, it's cool.
So Pam, I think everybody's excited to one step in the right direction.
Yes.
The catering halls get to open at 150% up to 150 people, March 15th. So, all right. Usually when you come on, you have predictions. So I'm putting you on the spot. Our curfew is 11 o'clock. Catering halls get to open on the 15th. We have family entertainment centers that open on the 26th. Movie theaters before that. So first, 50%. When do you think we're going to get to 50% for indoor dining?
All right. I'm thinking in 2 weeks.
Okay. So 2 weeks.
That's what I thought too.
We're talking before St. Patty's Day, maybe. And then what about the curfew lifting from 11 o'clock?
I think there's going to be no curfew in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh,
so 2 weeks. Right?
I like that one also.
Do you think he's going to give it to us for St. Patty's Day?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. And the reason why is because I think that what is happening with him personally is
affecting his
so I mean his numbers are down, you know. I mean I know he had higher aspirations. I mean I'm guessing, and you know, I think that you know, this excuse me, a way to curry favor with an industry that was really decimated. And he was, you know, very stubborn for whatever reason, targeted the food industry. I thought it was ironic that, you know, that Fun Station has been open this whole time. And, you know, bowling, you know, you know, only partially, and you couldn't use your vending machines. And that's really.
Yeah. They're not supposed to be open. But hey, God bless them. Good for them. They've skated through this whole time. But essentially, the only form of entertainment that was permitted to be open, they separated bowling. They moved us into low risk, where the entertainment centers, arcades specifically, were kept in high risk, and are only supposed to be opening March 26th. So God bless them. They kind of got away with it, staying open during this whole time. But I think they probably could have operated batting cages, but they shouldn't have been operating the arcade. So, you know, it's tough. Hey, they made it work.
So Pam, I have a question. There was a lot of scuttlebutt around this week about restaurants and taking deposits for reservations.
Yeah, that is it. Well, you know, Angelina is the one who kind of put it at a premium at $45 a head. You know, you could make your reservation. But, you know, you're talking about at 25% capacity, a restaurant that has no-show reservations. You know, that's a huge problem because, you know.
And we talked about it, I believe, months ago that I thought it was crazy that, you know, you'd go into a restaurant that was so limited in what they could actually sell, and they were being further hurt by no-shows. I mean, for people, if you're not going to go, just pick up the phone and say, I'm not going to come, so they can pass the table on to somebody else. But
I spoke with a guy who is the manager of a rather nice place, and he said that it's the industry norm on Staten Island for a fine dining place, you know, or in his experience, that like anywhere from 30 to 40% of the people will either no call, no show, or call like 10 minutes before the reservation when they can't be the table. So it's sort of a normal thing for, especially for a Valentine's Day or a holiday, because people do what has been referred to as restaurant shopping, reservation shopping. They call and they make multiple reservations at different restaurants, and then at the last minute decide, hey, hon, where do you want to go? And then they'll, not call the other places. So that's very common on Staten Island. But then again, we hear of the negative, we hear of the bad, and then I interviewed a lot of restaurant owners for this. You hear like Peter Botros, for instance, at his various restaurants, he says that people are, he doesn't like to implement the charge for people for reservations. He doesn't like to do a cancellation fee. Even though he takes the information, it's very unusual for them to actually implement it because it ticks people off, and it does more harm, with people on media than it does good. As you saw with Angelina's, the woman, I mean, that's what prompted the whole discussion of it. The woman tried to make a reservation. She had made it months and months or weeks before. And then at the last minute, they call her up and they say, like, it's $45 a person, And so at the last minute, when they changed that policy, they did it because they had experienced 45 no-shows a week before. So,
Yeah, and that's specifically for their brunch, right? Their
yes.
weekend brunch that they do. And I've been there after that. And I mean, they get a lot of people, but you can't afford to have empty seats. So we get it. Pam and I spoke about this too. I mean, we've been taking paid reservations. I mean, we've been doing it for about 10 years now. And we also, at one point, were charging a convenience fee for making that online reservation, essentially guaranteeing the lane. And it's worked for us. I mean, during this time, it's one of the best things that we do.
It really is.
Because people can come in and it's a contactless payment.
Right.
We collect their information for COVID tracing. It makes it easier on everybody. I mean, it's not 100% perfect. I mean, we do make our mistakes. We have our issues. But when we're dealing with 50% as well, it's hard to hey, you know what? I'll make a reservation over the phone. We do experience a lot of no-shows. Valentine's Day was a perfect example. At 9:30, we had availability, and more than half of them didn't show. So,
oh my gosh, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
Awful. It's awful.
So
Whatever.
Anyway, I want to be conscious of your time because you do have
I have to go to the meeting now. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
We'll have you back.
And having me.
And say hello.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I want to go to the Fulton fish market. Come on, we got to go.
Pam's awesome. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah, I love her. She has such a great outlook. I mean, I love the experience that she brings because she's been writing about it for so long, and she has the restaurant experience from American Grill. So she just has all the bases covered.
She does.
She has it all.
Jen, you might be onto something. It could be the same people that don't RSVP for parties. It's just a shame, and I get it. You know what? We make plans. We've all been in the position where you make a plan and you go,
and
wait.
Things happen. That's not.
I get it, but
that's not
take the opportunity to pick up the phone and say, hey, I can't come.
Yeah.
I've been in that shoes. I'm actually even worried, like we're running late, sitting in traffic.
I do the same thing.
We're running late.
Yep.
I know, because we know what it's like
to be on the other side of that.
And I could sometimes make that work. It actually sometimes helps me know when you're going to be late.
Right.
I could put somebody on. I could add time to someone's lane. Yeah. Right now, we're kind of constrained. So thanks, Pam, for the insight and the prediction. So
I love her prediction.
2 weeks from now, Pam
I hope she's right on.
And we believe, and it's funny, we've been saying the same thing. I don't know if he's going to give it St. Patty's Day. This is where Naz and I disagree.
You're very reticent.
Naz is with Pam. I'm not sure. However, I do agree with the assessment because of the political environment that's now, he's got himself into hot shit. And this is the first he gave already. He might start giving more. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm a little hesitant on March 17th.
In a way, we're not going to talk politics, but it's a shame that oddly he would be the one to continuously say, this is political. They're making this political. They're making that political.
And he's the one.
And then it turns out that he's sitting really in kind of a political quandary. Yeah. He's sitting in a mess.
But the problem is he's been doing it since day one. I mean, if anybody's asking who we're talking about King Cuomo, our governor. And it's a shame because his executive powers are also going to be lifted within a month.
Yeah.
So now,
just because the time is expired,
right? The time
not
is
for any other reason. Right.
Would the powers that be renew it? Probably not.
Not at this point. Yeah.
Right. Maybe, but I don't think anymore. So now it's like, okay, rush, rush, rush. And it's a shame because you want to phase in and do the right things.
Right.
Where now he's put himself in this, he really put himself in this. And since day one, he kept saying it's not political, not political, but all he did was point fingers. And today he's continuing to point fingers, especially that they're pointed at him. It's so sad. It's sad because it's at what we've been saying, it's at our expense. It's at the expense of the New Yorkers who are out of jobs, who run businesses. It really is a shame. It really is a shame.
And you know, and at the root of
Rant
it,
over.
At the root of it, I believe he was doing it for the right reasons, whether he was ill-advised or, you know, listen, it's a difference of opinion I mean, we were really the epicenter of this pandemic for the United States, and we got hit really hard. And we came out of it so much faster than other places did. And I do think that we have to thank him for some of that. Some of the other things that are happening now, you know, some of the other things that are being questioned now. Listen, hopefully they do a thorough investigation and find out what he did, whether it was right or wrong. But that shouldn't be politicized either, you know, because there were a lot of people
that put that on himself. So now he's created that environment to politicize it.
That's why you kind of listen. He's
got an Emmy now. He's got all these, as Jennifer just said, they praised him. And it's a shame because, to your point, we could have come out of this in much better shape. And we are in good shape for the most part, right? We're getting there. The numbers are down. We're doing well. We're on track. People are getting vaccinated. However, this the political nature.
It's going to cast such a pall over all the good that could have come out of it. You know, he's anyway.
So anyway,
he made a mess.
So thanks, Pam. Pam will be back, I'm sure.
I love Pam.
Rob is outside practicing. Rob, it's nice to know that you're listening while you're bowling. We'll see you outside. Hey, so a couple of things. One, this morning, the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce hosted its annual Lewis R. Miller Business Leadership Awards, and typically is a breakfast, which is, I have to say, of the events that the chamber hosts and the business community
it's a nice
hosts,
event, yeah.
It really is. It is the who's who in Staten Island business. That room at the Staten is typically filled, and recognizing some amazing people. And this year it went virtual, and they did a great job. It wasn't, of course, wasn't the same, but you know what? We had time to network with other people in business, speak with the honorees, and then listen to the roasts and presentations. And the cool thing about the breakfast is that these presentations aren't just somebody getting up there and reading a bio.
Correct.
That's not what this is about. They get the opportunity to roast their friend or whomever, and it's fun in nature. And the best part is that the honoree doesn't get to rebut.
Right.
So
no speeches.
No speeches. Just a presentation. Be funny. And so congratulations. I have to point them out because there's some fantastic people. Dr. Karen DeBona and Mark Scamadella, Tom Hall, Lackawanna, the Jason. I practiced that many times. Dean Balsamini, Sean Stratford, and Susan Fenley. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
This year's Lewis R. Miller Awards winners. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Linda.
It's been a while. We haven't seen you guys.
Yeah.
This past weekend, Naz, our Staten Island USBC Championship tournaments kicked off and continued through March 7th. We had some awesome bowling. So if you haven't signed up and you're not bowling, there's still room to get in. Fill out your application. Try to get it to us before you want to bowl. It makes it much easier.
We're kind of limited with walk-ins this year. And we were, you know, if we didn't have a no-show this past week, no shows again. If we didn't have that couple of no-shows, we would have had to shut people out.
Right.
So if you're thinking about bowling, get your application in. So
Tommy Fumey, welcome to the party. As he's waiting for Margie in the parking lot of TJ Maxx. Oh, you know, I get to bowl. I'm bowling doubles this weekend, I think. And I think we're bowling team next weekend, but it's a great time. It's a great competition. We are taking the opportunity to recognize last year's champions.
Right.
And, that was a cool little moment.
Squads. Yeah, that was very nice.
To recognize those who
Excelled
last year.
Yeah.
And then we'll also be honored at this year's dinner along with the Hall of Famers, 2 new Hall of Famers, which will be pretty cool. And so that continues through March 7th. It's amazing, really, how time is going.
I cannot believe it's already March 7th. We're already talking about March 7th.
Naz, we're going to hit season 2 soon.
We're so close, Frank.
We are. We're so close. Season 2, 141 episodes in season 1.
Who would have ever thought that was the last thing I would
2
want?
hacks decided to start a podcast. 2 hacks.
Yeah,
and now
exactly
2 hacks went from to stardom. I mean, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. I mean, wherever you decide to take in your content, you can catch us and watch us and listen to us. You might be better off listening to us than watching us.
You know, yes. You know, Frank, what's been lost in this whole ridiculous pandemic-filled, news-filled world that we're in now? Pitchers and catchers have reported. Baseball is back.
It's exciting. Well, I tweeted right after the Super Bowl was over. I'm like, okay, time for baseball.
Time for baseball.
Baseball season can start. Michelle, can a person bowl in a tournament if not bowling this season? You have to be a member of the current season to bowl. And I do believe you have to have a number of games. Minimum
number of games.
Bowling this year.
I think we may have adjusted that a little bit. The answer is really no,
but if you've subbed or if you've bowled at all this season, you might be eligible. We do use last year's average unless your current average as of January 1st is 10 pins or higher. But you have to be a member of the current season to participate. It's Frank Tisolano, LFGM. Yeah, let's go Mets.
I watched a really actually listened to Nelson Figueroa's podcast that he does with really, Frank, your boyfriend. Anyway, and he had Pete Alonso on as a guest, and I think it was December or January. But if you have a chance, go back and listen to some of those podcasts. They have great guests on, and very, very engaging. And Pete Alonso talked almost as long as Nelson has when he's come on here.
Shocking. Pitchers and catchers. And for spring training, you could buy a cutout. So it looks like they're limiting the number of fans in Florida also, which I can't believe.
Right.
Because the world is open in Florida. So it looks like they're still limiting the number of fans, but you could buy a cardboard cutout of yourself and sit in Port St. Lucie. I think it was like 40-something bucks.
I would rather that my cardboard cutout come here to work for me and let me go and sit in the stands in Port St. Lucie.
So we'll be able to actually go and watch live baseball this year, which is pretty cool.
That is
those that buy season tickets. I've learned from some friends. They're discounted. I mean, they're as much as you'd think it would be the opposite because they can only put so many people in the stands.
Right.
The prices have come down. They're bargaining because they really want to sell as many tickets.
Yeah, they want Obviously, they want to sell whatever tickets they can for whatever limited seats they're limited to.
I just can't wait to be able to go to a baseball game, sit there with a beer and take it all in because it's been way
It has been missed. It certainly has
Especially when you're used to going to several games a year.
Yeah, yeah, we're pretty spoiled.
I heard noise. I thought this was going to fall down. We're in if you've noticed watching, we're in a different place today.
Ooh,
we left Studio 710.
Lighting is not good.
The lighting is tough in here. Yeah, because, I had to move. So we really should be this way because of that light right there.
Yeah, what's right on me?
I discovered that doing bingo in here last week.
Oh, that's
that's why we're in here. We started with bingo. And then everything was still in here to go back to Studio 710. So we're in Studio 5710.
This feels like a 5710.
Yeah, and the purple wall behind us was okay, but we're not centered. Yeah. So because we're not centered, it caused an issue for me.
Yeah, so Frankie and I would be 100% agreement on this. Yeah. We'd be shifting so that we would be centered. Yeah.
So welcome to Studio 5710. You wouldn't even know. You can't even tell, and you're really close today. Jennifer. She says that she needs a concert. Nazareth, tell the world what you told me when you had a moment. Nazareth had a moment the other day.
It's almost not like a funny story. It's a sad story. I was talking about Oh, so a Phil Collins song came on the radio, and I was talking about when we went to see Phil Collins, and I was describing, and I was talking to my husband, who was at the concert with me, who we went with, how we got there, where we sat, how the stage was set up, and I got into like the songs they played, and I was having an emotional moment about it, and I can't believe it really made me realize how much I miss live music. I mean, the last thing we went to was Billy Joel, I think, which I think that might have been the concert that you were at also.
Yeah, probably.
And obviously not together, or else you would remember that.
I believe that.
And
I think you're right.
so yeah, it was. I just love the music and Broadway. I miss
soon. We're getting
yes,
it soon.
we are.
Before
we're
you
getting
know
into it,
and then we're going to take it all in as much as we can.
And I know Jen is a true concert junkie. That's
she just said 20 or so. I mean, that's committed.
Yeah, and those are the ones that got canceled.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
She goes to a lot.
Not many. I mean, I just not.
I enjoy it.
It's not I'm not one of those. I'm not a roadie that's going to go. But Billy Joel, I've seen a few times now.
Roadie?
You're a roadie. You're a roadie.
I like live music. Not that I haven't thought about it. Well, sitting watching how they set up stages, like. I like behind the scenes stuff and like watching how things come together. And it always amazes me watching how they work and how they break things down. So it's just seemed to me like an amazing job. So that'll be our next road trip.
The next one.
First we're going to Fulton Fish Market.
We're going to
go to the Hunts Point.
So slowly but surely, just keep
it's so good. And really, I believe that you can almost feel it kind of lifting physically, like the pole kind of that's lifting over, because things are opening up and people can, people feel
some normalcy.
I mean, really, last week when school was closed here,
we're busy.
I've seen more families in that amount of time than probably we've seen over the course of a year.
Yeah. No,
and 100%. I mean, and it was almost all families.
It was refreshing.
Yes, and that made me feel happy.
What I typically, like President's Week is busy for us. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it felt busier because we only have 24 lanes we could use.
Correct, but
at the same time, it's the first time that I felt that people felt comfortable.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. People,
we saw them; they came,
right,
and so it looks like they were just ready to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Jen, when your kids get out of the house, I know my niece and nephew are finally back in school full time, so that's happening too. Speaking of kids, our youth. So first of all, the Catholic High School League ended yesterday. I don't even know who won.
I believe Farrell won.
Farrell won. So congratulations to them. Zachary Labanow shot 277.
Yeah.
Missed a 300 yesterday.
Rob and I have our eyes on him. We predict great things for him.
He's been bowling really, really well. So congratulations to them. Today are the individuals today?
Thursday is today. Yes.
They're competing individually today, representing their schools. So check it out if you want to come down and watch, but be on the lookout. And thank you to Charlie DiBiase
for covering.
He did a couple pieces yesterday that shared kind of some photos. Zachary highlight there, and so thank you for covering. You know what? Having high school sports is so important. We've talked about this too, but since public school didn't have a season, it was nice and refreshing to see this get off and running and finally having some finality. Terry got on the microphone, shocking, and was talking about how it was just nice. Hey, we made it through. Yeah, kudos to the coaches for making that happen.
And that took a lot of work because they had several setbacks and they had several bumps in the road that could have easily, at any one of them, they could have easily just said, you know what? Let's just put this on the back burner. But, there were a couple, the coaches involved were really committed to getting those kids on the lanes, and yeah, I have to say Terry was a big part of that, and it felt good to have them and hear that, like sit in my office and hear the competition, and hear it was just great. It was good. I'm happy for that. I miss PSAL. I have to say
we all did, and even there was some light at the end of the tunnel, that the possibility pop up for spring sports. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of our youth bowlers, hey, don't forget, all of our youth bowlers are eligible to apply for some scholarship money that's being awarded by the New York State USBC. Over $15,000 is being awarded to kids of all ages. So visit bowlny.com and for your chance to apply. Very simple, easy applications, all online. High school seniors there's a huge scholarship for high school seniors, and then a bunch of others for kids for basically submitting a selfie. So check it out, bowlny.com, open to all of our youth bowlers to apply for a share of some money to help you pay for your education.
Which is important.
Speaking of money, Naz.
What?
We got money thrown all over the place. First of all, bingo.
Got to be in the bingo.
Bingo has been great. Friday, March 12th is the next game of bingo at the Staten Island North Shore Rotary Club. It's been a fun time. We've given away, like, I call it almost $15,000 in prizes, let alone the amount of money that we've raised for our community.
Which is great.
You guys have been great. Our regular viewers that have been playing with us. So thank you. But Friday, March 12th is the next one. Donna, no, these are awards that the kids submit for themselves. So send Angelia to the website.
Yes. Those particular awards from the USBC are, they were submitted by
the kids.
The bowlers.
Bowlny.com. Send Angelia to the website to check it out, and she can apply herself. We do have other awards that the coaches nominate the kids for. It's the scholarship award for the seniors. There is an element where the coaches do have to submit something, but the kids are
It's generated. The initial application is generated from the youth.
Yeah, and cash. Wait, speaking of cash, back to money.
Yeah.
So March 1st is rolling around, and the Rabs Pot of Gold is back.
The Pot of Gold.
Pot of Gold. So out
again, that brings me back to the whole anniversary thing.
I know. It's like
anything related to St. Patrick's Day now is gonna.
I know.
But that's all right. This is going to be a magical pot of gold.
Magical pot of gold.
This is kind of like the pot of gold at the end of the pandemic.
And the rainbow. If you've been on our page, you see this great photo that Thomas Vitale took the other day. This after the rain and the snow and the rain, because it was the same in both days. This beautiful rainbow that kind of you saw over Staten Island. It was pretty cool. But the Pot of Gold is an in-league tournament open to all of our league bowlers starting March 1st for 3 weeks. We use your scores that you bowl in. That you bowled in league, and we give out prizes for based on pins over average. Male and female compete separate. So starts March 1st. If you're bowling, check it out. We will remind you and let you know you have a chance to win.
That's awesome.
Donna, just scroll. You'll see there's 3 spots on the New York. We're talking about the New York State application. It's a lot happening. Naz, yesterday we held another event outside, and it was a beautiful day. It was not windy like the last one.
The last one was
We have a new addition here at Rabs. I'm going to show this photo for those listening. You can't see it, but outside Rabs, we've installed the latest addition to the Wings Public Art Initiative. So this is Wings set number 3, which celebrates hope and all of our neighborhoods on Staten Island, and pretty cool. So it's right outside the door. Check it out. Harry was taking photos yesterday outside, and it looks really, really cool. Zoom in.
It's really well done. So who did the artwork on that, Frank?
So this is a project by the SIEDC and sponsored by Councilman Steve Matteo, and the SIEDC did the artwork. So this one's unique. Of course, it's purple. It's got bowling, of course, because it's on the outside of our building.
I wonder who would have given him that guidance.
I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. So you can go and take your photos outside. There's going to be a 4th one that pops up in the next few weeks. down on Minthorne Street, but I know.
Oh, they're putting the one on Minthorne.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different though. I don't think it's one that you're going to be able to take photos with. They're going to place it where it looks more of a mural. It'll be up high. But I don't know, based on like the plaza, if you might be able to get a photo from a different angle.
Right.
But there's one outside of Mrs. Rosemary's Dance Studio on Noodle Plaza. We're number 3, and I forgot where the first one's out on the South Shore. It's a rainbow theme, angel wings, and if I remember where it is, but go check it out.
I'm sure you can find out where they are on the SIEDC website.
Yeah, on the gram, Naz.
On the gram, everything is on the gram now.
On the gram.
I'm on the TikTok. I'm on the gram, but not so much on the. I only refer to it when people who are on TikTok refer to their Instagram account. Then I go to Instagram.
Or the TikTok.
The TikTok. It is the TikTok.
Oh, hey. So we've throughout this whole time, one of the things we've been sharing our memes of the day, and this one is courtesy of our friend Joe Calendro.
Oh yes, he was on this one today.
So today's meme of the day, Naz.
That's from
Is
Joe.
there such a thing as a day without bull?
Well,
I already said bullshit.
I haven't really had one yet. There might be.
There's far between, especially these days. But as you know, one day at a time, we're slowly but surely pulling out of this. Yes, we've been doing this since I can't get over this since last March 21st.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We should do an anniversary show.
We're going to have to. We're going to have an anniversary show with all of our friends. We celebrated 100 episodes with lunch outside. We had terrible Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that
we made
was
it
bad.
work.
That was bad.
We had got some great videos from our friends celebrating us. So season 2 is around the corner. I mean, if 2 hacks can continue having season 2.
That's a good idea. We could do have some of our favorite viewers or and maybe some of our not so favorite viewers that don't like us so much. Send in a little message.
We should.
To 2 hacks. We'll call it 2 hacks.
They've been with us.
Hashtag 2 hacks.
Hashtag 2 hacks.
2 hacks with a web show or whatever Facebook
hysterical.
Live, whatever it is.
But we're here.
We are.
We're here. We're moving along, and before you know it, this will just be behind us. We'll be laughing about it. We'll kind of make some jokes, and just it is funny. I already don't have sense of time, and when we talk about sense of time, like I say something happened last year. Nothing happened last year. So it's like, and then it's weird to say, 2 years ago.
And then it feels like, could it be 2 years? I just had that experience last night.
It's like 2020 should just be erased,
yeah.
Non-existent. I mean, in the beginning of the year, January, February, we had some good things, but I was talking about going to Chinatown, and that was last year, right before the shutdown. And then we're talking about something else. I'm going, no, that was 2 years ago. It couldn't have been last year. And then I'm scrolling through my phone at photos. I'm going, no, it couldn't have been last year. Nothing happened last year.
Nothing happened.
Nothing but happened, but the shit around us has.
Yeah. And, sadly, not to be complaining when there are people who lost family members to this
for sure
horrible disease that, they'll always stay with us, and they're always in your hearts. And, it's reflection time. I'm not going to have a moment of silence or anything.
I didn't know where you were going with that. We do a lot of reflecting here.
Yeah.
We do a lot of reflecting. Well, it's been fun. So stay tuned. We've been planning to come to you every Thursday at noon. We might find a new time. Thursday at noon I like, but I don't really like. It's just like smack in the day, and it's like, whoa.
Right. You feel like your morning is shortened and then your afternoon is shortened.
It was much easier at 2:00 when there was nothing going on.
We
had nothing else better to do.
We really didn't have to.
Neither did you. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Click that like button. Click the share. Tell your friends. Tell your family. I think what is today? The 25th. Yeah, we should be here. There's no reason why we shouldn't be here next week, I think. So be on the lookout. You never know when the next episode of Live from Rabs, and you get to listen to us.
And if there's anybody you want to see as a guest, let us know.
Let us know. Drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
You can listen to us. You can send us a Facebook message. You can tell us when you're here. you just never know who's going to pop up on an episode of Live from Rabs. You never know.
Never, ever know.
In the meantime, stay safe. Keep wearing your
Wash
masks.
your hands. Don't touch your face still. We're still in. Yeah, right, exactly. Very nice.
Oh, Naz.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Wow, that was fast. That was fast. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.